We are your home theater and AV questions answered. This is AVRant. Want your home theater or AV question answered by Tom and Rob? Send it to question@avrant.com. Welcome to AVRant. I'm Tom Andry, and I'm here with
Rob H.
Justin Not Bieber. This comes from Facebook. He's got some updates. All right, I didn't realize we were updating this now. For his living room system with the TV over the fireplace, as a reminder, he's downsizing from EMP Tech Impression Series towers to on-wall speakers. He got the Golden Ear Supersats. Anyways, and he hated them.
Yeah.
So he temporarily used some EMP Tech E3B speakers that he already owned, and he found them passable. He reordered the Martin Logan Motion 4 bookshelf speakers, and he thinks they're a huge upgrade. He loves their crisp, clear sound and excellent imaging, though they are bigger than expected, still wall-mountable, though. Now, those are a lot more expensive than anything else that we're looking at here, right?
Yes.
Is that true?
Well, I mean, the Supersats aren't cheap, so it's not a
Yeah,
huge change.
Not
it's funny.
unexpected about that, though. Be honest with you, the
Right.
Golden Ear Supersats and anything from Golden Ear, it has a sound. They want to
It
have
has
a
a
sound. They
sound.
have a sound, and that's what they're going for. And if you don't like it, it doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make them bad speakers. It just means that you guys don't agree. It's fine. Shake hands and go your own way. I'm not surprised that you found the Martin Logan Motion 4s an improvement over the EMP Techs, which are a budget speaker. So
Right.
yeah, that's not surprising at all. So for his desktop 2-channel music listening setup, he got the Emotiva PT100 preamp and A300 2-channel amplifier, and he's using them with the Echo Dot and the U-Turn Audio Orbit custom turntable. Okay, so this is vinyl. And I did not see how much this thing costs, but it is
Not too bad.
awfully pretty. It
Yeah.
is awfully pretty, this little turntable, or the U-Turn Audio. It's $179, and it comes in black or green or blue or white or red or tan or wood grain. I like the wood grain. I've got to be honest with you.
And then, as the name
Anyhow.
suggests, you can customize it, of course, for extra cost. But that's the base price.
Yeah, so the base price is $179. The wood grain is an extra $90. In fact, so is the tan. Oh, is that also a wood grain? Oh, it's a light
Probably.
wood grain.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rest of the colors are all $179. Anywho, so anyways, he owns about 100 vinyl records, and he has a memory of them sounding pretty good, albeit in a completely different setup, of course. But with his 2-channel setup, he's compared some of his vinyl records to the same song streaming via the Echo Dot. The Echo Dot, and the vinyl sounded duller and noisier to him. Is he just being forced to be honest and come to terms with vinyl sounding inferior, or is there something he could do to drastically improve the sound of his vinyl records? His last vinyl setup was a few years ago, and he's listened to many different systems since then. So his memory of how vinyl used to sound, is that just playing tricks on him? He'd like to some help sorting through this. All right. Now, before I get into all the things I'm going to say about vinyl, let's actually answer the question. Could you do something to improve the sound of your vinyl? Chances are the answer is no, and that's because every time you play a record, it degrades slightly. You're running a needle along a groove. A needle is sharp. The groove is made of vinyl, and it is, there's some damage being done. This is not an opinion. This is a fact. This is a physical thing that happens. You cannot stop it from happening. What can you do? The only thing I've ever seen to address stuff like this is some people own these essentially washers for their vinyl. You put the record into what looks like a big turntable with like a waterproof top. It rinses it, it dries it, and it spits it back out after it's done with it as clean as it's gonna be. Will this help you in your search to reclaim the sound that you remember before? I'm gonna say no. Could it help? Maybe. I don't know. The reality is that this allure, this mystique around vinyl is exactly what you're talking about. It's memory. It's people remembering how great it sounded, how great they felt when they listened to it, probably how high they were when they were listening to it too, and everything else. And then they say, I'm going to play this record and I'm going to have that same feeling. And they're like, but it's all kind of scratchy and noisy. And it doesn't sound as good as what I heard streaming, probably
And it has
low
all
quality
the
MP3s.
high frequency roll off that there is in vinyl. There is high frequency roll off in there.
I mean, and not only that, people don't really realize this, but you could not put all the bass into a vinyl recording that you wanted to, because it would knock the needle out of the groove. So what they did is they used sort of basically an algorithm, which transforms what is being played, and said, okay, well, if you get this note, in this way or whatever, it transforms it so that you get more bass out of it. It's almost like a DSP, like an early version of a DSP, but it was sort of agreed upon. Like, this is one way to transfer, this is another way to transfer, another way to transfer.
RIAA curve that's used.
That's right.
Which the Emotiva is applying, by the way.
Yeah. So I mean, this is a thing that you're experiencing, which let's just chalk it up to rose-colored glasses about our past. We look back on these times and think of how great they were, and the reality is, it's just records, and they kind of sucked.
Well, to me, the biggest difference here is you've now got a near field setup. It's a desktop setup. Too. You're sitting really close to your speakers. Yep. So all of that background noise, every little pop and click that's going to be in the vinyl, you're hearing that like you probably didn't hear in the previous setup. Like, my dad has a ton of vinyl, so of course, I mean, he's not going to rebuy everything. That doesn't make sense. But he's sitting all the way across the living room from some very nice speakers, and vinyl sounds really nice in that setup. But if I got really up close to his speakers, I'm like, I'm hearing all the flaws. You can't avoid it when you're that close to the speaker, when you're near field like that. You can't avoid all the flaw that's there. There is that background hiss that's always there. And when you're sitting near field like this, it's that much more noticeable. That's been my experience anyway. So honestly, I wouldn't say like throw out your 100 vinyl records. It's just I don't like listening to vinyl near field. It doesn't make sense to me.
I mean, you end up in the same situation if you decide to listen to it loud, right?
Well,
I mean, even if you're
not
far
really,
field,
because you don't get the background noise as much when it's really loud and you're far away. That gets masked.
You're talking about the actual physical noise that's coming off of the record, not as it spins around.
When you put the needle down and nothing's playing yet, just the
yeah.
That's there. When you're sitting near field like that, you can't avoid hearing that.
Yeah. I have a feeling he's at this. I mean, that could be it. Sit further away from your desk.
Yeah.
How's that going to work out for you? Let me know. He bought the Hi-Fi Man HE 400 headphones, and he thought they sounded awesome. Now, these are planar magnetic, right?
They are.
Am I right about that? But he ended up returning them because he discovered he wants more sound isolations, and the HE 400 leaks sound like crazy. He said they could basically be used as speakers.
Yep.
They are open back, and Yep. This is an issue with those. So with the same $750 budget restriction, he's now hoping to find a pair of closed back headphones with similar sound qualities, considering the Oppo PM3s, the Fostex FTHX00, whatever, dude. Anyways, these speakers, the Audeze EL-8 and the V-Moto CF2s. Any thoughts or recommendations for those, or something that he hasn't considered?
I got my vote out of those. But.
Yeah. I would probably go for the Audeze based on that, but I'm wearing the Oppo PM3s. Mm-hmm. They're very good. They are not as big and as comfortable as some of these. These are meant to be on-ear speakers. They do go around my ear, so I'm a little bit more comfortable with them.
They wouldn't go around mine.
They would not go around Rob's, and
I folded my ears.
I feel fairly okay with them for like a couple of hours, but they're not like the super comfortable headphones that I would like for hours of music listening. If you said I'm going to go with the Oppos, I'd be like, great, you're going to love them, because they are very, very good. But I'm guessing the Audeze might be a little bit better. I don't have much faith that the V-Motos are going to sound fantastic. I don't know. I have not heard those.
Great build quality, but not
linear
sound.
yeah. They are not going for linear. He's very much into house music. We talked to the guy in the podcast. He's very much into house music and DJ and stuff like that, and that he has a certain sound he likes, and he wants his headphones to sound that way, and that's great. They are bulletproof. The man does not believe in plastic. They're like all metal. Like you could use them to block bullets. I don't know anything about those Fostech speaker headphones. So the PM3s or the Audeze ones are the two I would look at.
Yeah, my vote was going to the Audeze EL-8s as well. I was a little surprised to hear Tom say them first, but I'm in agreement with that. Those are the ones I would go for in this price class for a sealed planar magnetic headphone that can give you some. It's not the same sound quality as the HE 400s. They're going to sound a bit different, but a similar type of sound quality within this price range with a closed back design. So
so the Audeze ones are bigger too, right? Aren't they bigger?
They're a full circumaural.
And that's really, I think that's really what I was thinking, was that I think he's going to be disappointed with the size of these headphones.
Yeah,
you can look on the video, like go look on the video what they look like, because they are not huge. I mean, you think the big ones, and I can actually go get the other ones because I've got the PM2s. They don't make those anymore. The PM2s would be the perfect solution, but they are open back as well, but I don't think they leak noise as bad as the ones that you were talking about. But the EL-8s, aren't they open back? No,
there's two versions. There's an open back version and a closed back version. So
okay,
closed back version.
A closed back version. I didn't know that. All right. So are there any recommendations for something that has Sennheiser? High-end Sennheisers would be. I don't know that you're going to be able to get anything that sounds quite as good as a planar magnetic, but if you're going to get it from somebody, the high-end Sennheisers, $750. I'm trying to think of how far up they're
going to be the open back style from Sennheiser up at that price range. That's what they do. So
anyways, well, I like the sound quality of Hi-Fi Man HE 400s and Emotiva PT100 headphone output didn't drive them loud enough or with low enough to fully satisfy Justin. Since the closed back planar magnetic headphones are very much a possibility, he'd like a suggestion for an external headphone amp under $500 that can, for certain, power any headphone he might choose. Now, if you go with the Oppos, you will not need that. Okay?
And you shouldn't need them with the Audeze EL-8s either. They're quite sensitive.
I have never, I use these things with my phone. And I don't turn. I mean, I turn the volume very close to as high as the phone volume will go, but it is loud. It is plenty loud. And
that PT100 doesn't have a tremendously powerful headphone amp in it, so
yeah,
fair enough.
So I know I can see based on these notes here that Rob has a recommendation that I'm not going to read. So
I know it's your favorite company name. It's SCHIIT, Schiit Audio. And yes, they do make a pun out of that. But yeah, they got some nice. And the thing was, I remember Justin asking about an amplifier. This was for speakers originally, but an amplifier with tubes. Well, you could go for one of the models that has tubes from Schiit Audio. They got some with tubes. So the Lyr would be an expensive, too expensive in my opinion, choice. But if you want tubes, then that's the one to go for, because they have a less expensive model with tubes below that, but it's not really meant to drive anything other than very high impedance headphones. So the Lyr would be one if you want tubes. Honestly, the one I would go for is their $99 Magni 2. That'll drive anything. It's totally fine. It's $100. It's really all you need to drive any headphones you would ever want. But I know that Justin likes the idea of tubes, so I'll throw the Lyr out there just for that reason.
There you go. I will never recommend that company. I'm sorry, guys. You have to start sending me some.
They make good headphone amps, though.
I'm sure they do. If they want me to talk about them, I will have to have a stack of their gear in my house before I'll even consider it. I'm sorry. You have a stupid name. I got a problem with that. I mean, I am not in middle school where I think stuff like that's funny anymore. Lastly, speakers. Justin says he likes to experiment, and the setup. So the setup is 2.0 for music listening, and with a budget of $750, he likes to buy a pair, use them for a while, then swap them out for something else. So it's all about variety and experience. So he's been in his 2.0 setup, he's been swapping out various speakers, and he wanted to let us know what he thought of the different speakers. So the Wharfdale Denton, which he felt were enjoyable all around, but seemed a bit flat and lifeless, especially with cellos. I don't know what they've got against cello, but apparently over Wharfdale.
It's the way they're EQ'd for whatever reason.
The Axiom M22s, he says they have a sizzle in the high end, but he liked them a lot. And I've had those speakers, and I can see exactly why he would say those things, and I would agree with them. The Golden Ear Aeon 3, which he thought was nothing special. The MP Tech Towers, which so far are his favorite by far, or so far. Yeah. The Ascend CMT 340 SEs he felt were great, but he slightly preferred the Axioms over the Ascend.
Fair enough.
Interesting. Totem Dreamcatchers, he felt like they didn't play low enough. And the B&W and Klipsch, he didn't like any of their offerings, which, again, the ones that he liked tend to be, let me see here.
Pretty neutral. Pretty neutral.
Right? He doesn't really like the Golden Ears, doesn't really like the Totems, doesn't really like the B&Ws or the Klipsch. Those are the ones that are having a sound, and it's not surprising that he doesn't like them as much. So he asked, what are some more options he could try? So maybe some lesser known, off the beaten path suggestions. And just so we know, he'd love to try Magnepans, but he's certain that his cat would destroy them. What? Aren't they made? Aren't they like wire? Not wire, but aren't they like grills? Like metal grills?
No, I mean they're a sheet of mylar. That's what they
I'm
are.
thinking. What am I thinking of? I'm thinking of Martin
Logan Electrostats.
Yeah. Anyways, so what do we got for him? All right, so let's see here. Well, you don't have any tried my speakers, so it's the Aperions.
You didn't try the Aperions yet.
So you can choose something from their line, and they have free return shipping, if I remember correctly. The other one that comes to my mind that I think we should look into is Dali.
Yep.
I haven't heard you say anything about Dali. Dali would be a very good option for you. They've got a lot of good stuff out there. They got a lot of stuff that's not that great, but they have a lot of good stuff out there.
And I mean, if this is about experimenting and trying stuff out, yeah.
Salk, too, might be an option for you. Salk,
oh, sure.
Salk Audio. They've had some quality issues over the years, but I really like the Song Towers that I had. Which I thought
those are over $750, but they have.
I know,
options.
But they have other options out there. So go look at Salk Sound.
Yeah, I don't know how much any of my suggestions are off the beaten path. I mean, everything I would say. I mean, SVS, KEF, Focal maybe would be the least known amongst. But we mention them all the time. But Focal, like their Aria 905s, you can get them from accessories for less. Emotiva, their Airmotiv T1 towers. I mean, you already tried EMP Tech towers, so towers aren't off the table.
Right,
so you could give them a try. And then we already know you liked Axiom and Ascend, so you like that pretty neutral sound. Paradigm, PSB, they're going to have that Canadian sound. Energy as well, right? But none of those exactly off the beaten path.
I was going to say, if you've heard like Ascend and Aperion and Axiom speakers, you're going to listen to Paradigm and PSB and go, what? It sounds the same. I mean, it's going to be very little difference between these speakers. That's the problem. That's my big problem with the Canadian, quote unquote, Canadian sound, is that they end up all kind of sounding the same in the end.
So I would say maybe look at some British speakers, which would be like Mission and Linn, right?
Sure.
Maybe you already tried B&W, but Mission and Linn have their own sounds too. So something out of there. Maybe Focal, they're French.
Monitor audio.
Yeah, that'd be a good one too. Yeah. There you go. Whole bunch out there to try.
I'm trying. You know what you need to do is search for my name in like bookshelf speaker review and see what comes up. You're going to come up with some stuff because I know I've like Usher. I don't know if they still make speakers. Gene flat out destroyed a pair of their speakers. Just drove them completely into the ground. But that might be an option. Their little bookshelf speaker I thought sounded pretty good before Gene blew it up.
I think we've.
The RBH isn't on here at all, right?
Well,
he's already
did
done
the EMP Tech. Yeah.
Yeah, that's our higher end ones. All right, that's a lot. Let us know how that works out for you.
Something out of there should be worth a try.
Oh yeah, we have to recommend Legacy Audio because if not, then right now.
Well, they don't have anything for $750 though.
I know,
not a thing.
You know, there's a person out there that's going to explode if we don't say it. He's right now exploding. Want your question answered? Send it to question@avrant.com. This is AVRant.
Now go out and listen to something.